We are back on the Rational Boomer podcast. Hopefully, your day is going well. It is Friday, and you are absolutely right. I sound a little weird today, and it's because I've got a cold. I think I got the cold from my 3-year-old petri dish of a granddaughter. She had a cold last time I saw her, but frankly, if I get to see her and I get a cold out of it, I'm good with it. I'd rather struggle with a cold and see her as opposed to not. This is going to be one of those interesting shows. It's going to be one of those shows where I may not be looking at you or whatever, because I'm going to do a TikTok live simultaneously with doing the Rational Boomer podcast. I wouldn't think that people would like that, but apparently, from the views I'm getting and the listens I'm getting for the podcast while doing a TikTok are pretty good. So let's fucking try it again. And I figured I needed to do a live and I needed to do a podcast. And my voice only has so much strength. So I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone. So what I'm going to do now is hit the go live button on TikTok and we'll see what we see. We'll see what happens. But again, if I'm not looking at you directly, it's because I'm looking at the phone or I'm looking at whatever the fuck. So we're on live now on TikTok, and we're going to see what happens here. Got a lot of news to talk about. There's all kinds of things going on. Jack Smith came up with some interesting information, how he's going to tie Donald Trump into the actual attack on the Capitol on January 6th. So that's good to know. Starting to get some people joining here. Welcome to the TikTok Live with Rational Boomer. I'm telling some other folks, I'm talking to some other folks too, because while I'm while I'm doing this live, I'm also recording it for my podcast. Now, the Rational Boomer podcast you can get in just audio format. All you have to really do is go to rationalboomer.com and there's links to several platforms, or you can go to YouTube, and this live that I'm doing now is being recorded for video and audio along with doing it live. So welcome to the TikTok Live. You know, for a time, I wasn't really doing too many TikTok lives because I had a lot of trouble with the Trump trolls coming in and creating havoc and starting fights, and then ultimately crying and whining to the TikTok gods and having me taken down. Well, the last few times I haven't been able to do that. And that's largely due to the fact that I have some good moderators. Great Captain is one of them. You'll see him out there, and some others. And they keep track of what's going on and they mute or block people. Now, I will tell you in advance, there are occasions, rare occasions, when somebody gets blocked or muted incorrectly. They shouldn't have been blocked or muted. And I apologize to you in advance for that, but don't blame the moderators. It gets pretty fast and furious out here. So they're just trying to do what they can to protect the live and me, and I appreciate it immensely. Walter Sutra says, hello from Massachusetts. I love Massachusetts. Boston. Been to a number of places in Massachusetts, looking forward to getting back there. I told the people on the podcast, I'll tell you too, I'm a little bit under the weather. This is why my voice sounds a little weird. Yeah, sounds a little lower, a little gravelier. It's because I got a fucking cold. Hello from DC. Hey, DC. Hey, Sun City, Arizona. I think I got it from my granddaughter, who at 3 years old, they're all kind of like little petri dishes full of bacteria. But if it means seeing my granddaughter, I'll struggle with whatever disease she wants to hand over to me. Cassie says, enjoy your content and agree most of the time. Hi from Sacramento. Hi, Cassie. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Hey, from Vegas. You know what? I'm going to be down in Vegas December 8th through the 11th. We're going to go see the Vikings game. So that should be interesting. I always like going back to Vegas now and again. Hello from California. Good evening. So you can, hey, Mike from Canada. You know, that's the interesting thing about doing what I do on TikTok and on the podcast. Bobby Hedgeland Taylor. He is a past guest on the podcast. Bobby, you got to get back on the podcast. I've told you this once. I've told you it twice. Fucking email me and let's do it. Um, but I get a lot of people from Canada, Scotland, England, all over the place, all over the world, and I'm pretty amazed by that. Hi, I'm from Minnesota. Enjoy your comments, Raul Cano. Hey, Raul. Hello from North Dakota. CSK. Well, I am Malaysia. See you every day. Malaysia. This big old dumb white face coming to Malaysia every fucking day. Can you believe it? I can't. Let's see. I'll be back. Hell yes. Well, Bobby Hedgeland Taylor, he's an interesting guy. He's a comedian, he's an actor, he's an acrobat, he's a trapeze artist. That was an interesting show. We got to get him back. Rosa from Toronto. Hey, Rosa. Hello from South Carolina. I like how you expose corruption. I'm glad you added corruption. I don't plan to be exposing much else. 400 Birds, love your podcast. Hi from South Jersey. Jason Darren, I love what you do. Jersey, hi from Wisconsin, our next door neighbor here. I love your style of multi videos each day. Yeah, well, I've always told people I don't know how well I do with my videos in terms of quality, but I got quantity down because I can talk for fucking ever, as you'll note as I do this TikTok live. Now, because I've got this cold, I'm going to be drinking water a lot. Try to keep my voice clear as best I can. It's not that clear, but hopefully you can understand me. Hi from Manitoba, Ohio. Hey, Ohio, we did it. Yeah, absolutely. I liked what happened in Ohio because it tells the Republicans something that somehow they've not been able to grasp. They want to embrace this making abortion illegal, in spite of the fact that 70% of the country disagrees with it. They get their ass whooped in 2022 in the midterms because of the abortion issue. And you would think at that point they'd step back and say, maybe we should try something different. But no, these dumb fuckers don't. They embrace it and they want to shove it down your throats. Unfortunately, Ohio and some other states have said, fuck you, you're not doing it. And I will tell you this, anybody worried about 2024 and Donald Trump or any other Republican winning, it's not going to happen. You could throw away everything else. That abortion issue is going to cost the Republicans the election in 2024. Ken Brown says, filthy language. Fucking right. Takesha, I've always loved your comments from Alabama. Thank you very much. I was in USA last week. It's so different from what I left in 2018, Kathy Clark. Yeah, it's changed a lot since Donald Trump became president. Everything has changed here. The attitude amongst people. There's a lot of adversarialness amongst people in this country. Earthling says, can you talk about Manchin? Yeah, that piece of shit. Joe Manchin announced today that he is not running for re-election in the Senate, and there's good reason for that. He doesn't have a prayer in hell of winning. West Virginia is a very red state. He's a Democrat, but not much of a Democrat, of course. So instead of getting his ass whooped, he's going to take the coward's way out and step out of there. Now, there's some concern that he may run as a third-party candidate for president, and everybody's so upset. Don't fucking worry about it. He couldn't get the support or the votes to save anybody. And if you're worried about him taking away things from Biden, don't be. He might take as much away from the Republican as well. Joe Manchin is all about himself and all about money. What you'll probably do is end up getting a big job as a lobbyist. He'll make 10 times as much money and he'll be just as big a prick. Hello, have you read Project 25? What are your thoughts on it? I've read Project 25 and I get tired of people being upset about it and worried about it. The only way that even come close to being a factor is if the Republicans get the majority in the House and the Senate by a large part, because most Republicans aren't going to back that fascist bullshit. A lot of people want to wring their hands and clutch their pearls over it. It's not that big a deal. Well, it is a big deal, but it's never going to happen. Bobby Hedgeland Taylor says, email sent. Let's book this week. Well, it's Friday or Thursday. It will be Friday when people hear the podcast. You're meaning next week. I got a couple of guests coming up. Kathy Clark, I wish Melania took Donnie with him when she left. No one says where she is. What I heard is she went back over to Slovakia or something like that, or Slovenia, wherever she's from. And that's probably wise. She might be on the hook for some indictments too, and she wants to get her kid out of the line of fire. Jules, hi, Mike. Did you see where the House spent yesterday voting on whether to defund the VP? They lost. Yeah, I've heard that. We've got to come up with a budget deal or at least a continuing resolution within 7-8 days, and they're fucking around with that stuff. They're also talking more about doing the investigation and the hearings for impeaching Joe Biden. Did you hear that one? Yeah, they're going to subpoena Hunter Biden, James Biden, Biden's brother. They're going to subpoena Biden's sister, Biden's dead son's widow. Yeah, it's ironic. James Comer is going nuts with the subpoenas, and it'll be interesting to see if they show up because, you know, the Republicans already made it known that you don't have to show up for subpoenas. So why would these fucks have to do that? Interesting story I heard, though. You know, James Comer, the Republicans are worried about this $200,000 check that James Biden gave to Joe Biden. Oh, there's got to be some sketchy shit there. Well, it was found out with further investigation that James Biden was basically paying back a loan he made from his brother. That's all it is. That's proven to be the fact. But then I heard a perfect illustration of some hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy is this. Funny thing is, James Comer, the chairman who's going after these people, has some similar deals with his brothers, some shell companies and some moving of money and a company that doesn't even exist. Talk about hypocrisy. James Comer is doing things illegally, and he has the audacity to try to project it onto Joe Biden. Excuse me. Anyway, let's move on. Do you think that Biden needs to take a stronger stance on the Palestinians? No. I wish he wouldn't take any stance, but he has to. Israel is an ally of the United States, and because they are an ally, it is our responsibility to stand with them and for our president to stand with them. But if you notice what Joe Biden's doing, he's not going over there with a bunch of weapons and say, let's get these sons of bitches. He's trying to quell it a little bit, trying to help the Palestinian and the Israeli citizens who need help. He's trying to get these people to pause. The suggestion that he's standing with Israel, so he's standing for genocide, I don't quite get. He has to stand with Israel. The Palestinian people are one thing, but Hamas is another thing. Therein lies the problem. You've got Hamas, you've got the government of Israel, and in between, you've got Israeli citizens and Palestinian citizens that are a little more than collateral damage. It's a fucked up thing. But let's be honest, war is fucked up. There's a lot of this stuff going on all over the world. There are things like this that we've been involved in. It is horrific. It is atrocious. And we should do some things. But for people in this country to take a stance, let's focus on the shit we got here. 1 million people died of COVID. We've got dumb fucks attacking the U.S. Capitol. We've got one party trying to take constitutional rights away from half the population. Yeah, we got some things we need to focus on. What's this now? Oh, healthcare workers, I love you in Kentucky. Well, I have never been to Kentucky actually, but I hope to get there. My wife and I are going to drive to Georgia end of December, so maybe we'll go through there. But I love healthcare workers, and I'm sick, so see what you can do for me. And like any drunken brother, we tolerate them and bail them out when we can. Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Fortunately, I'm lucky. I've got a brother that's as smart as I am or smarter and is successful. So I don't have to worry about that. How do you kill Hamas who are too cowardly to wear uniforms? Well, it's not that different than what we had in Vietnam. You didn't always know who the enemy was, and um, that that made things difficult. Absolutely. Great Captain is in the house. He says, "Don't engage with trolls. Just ignore them like their parents did." He's absolutely right. It doesn't pay to engage with them. They can't comprehend truth, fact, or law. Just let them go, and Great Captain and other moderators will do what they have to do. Jim says, "Stop the slaughter in Gaza." I agree. What we should be doing is trying to stop this thing, and I think that's what Joe Biden is trying to do, as opposed to uh, giving Israel more ammunition, as it were. Does anyone ever mention the First Amendment? Why in God's name are Republicans trying to do? Yeah, I think we all talk about the First Amendment, especially the Republicans. They think that means they can say anything. Well, theoretically, they can say anything, but there are consequences for some things you say, and they don't get that part. Jules said, I just listened to a podcast earlier today with Katie Couric, Mary Trump, and Kinzinger. Very good. Yeah, it sounds like a good lineup. Why are the leaders in Qatar not being held responsible? Why are Republicans in the United States not being held responsible? I don't have an answer for that, but I agree. When will the judge decide to pay up amount in New York case? Well, here's the deal. Ivanka Trump testified yesterday, day before. That was the last witness for the prosecution. Now, on Monday, the defense, Donald Trump's team, will start their case, and it depends on how long it goes. I've heard some people say they have 127 witnesses. I doubt they'll get through that. But whatever time it takes for the defense to get through it, then at that point, when they rest, then they'll make the decision. The judge, there is no jury, there is just a judge, and he will make the decision as to how much. But it's going to be more than $250 million. It's going to be more than Donald Trump can handle. So because of that, he's probably going to go broke. He's going to have to liquidate properties. He's going to end up with fucking nothing. All right. I'm in NYC. Lots of people experience anti-Semitism. Yeah, I know. Of course, NYC has a large Jewish population, and I never understood this at all. This anti-Semitism bullshit. Um, it's frustrating. I wish I had an answer to how to fix it. Just use your fucking head. Have some common sense. It's like racism. It's like misogyny. What makes you think you're better than anybody else? I know I'm not better than anybody else because my wife fucking tells me that. Jose says, hello, Mike. Greetings from Houston. Hey, Jose. Florence of Arabia. I feel like Biden is pumping the brakes on things over there. Pumping the brakes. How much impact should he have? He's there to support Israel. If you mean by pumping the brakes, trying to settle things down, yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. Will U.S. bomb Iran like Scott suggested? Tim Scott? Tim Scott is a fucking doofus. No, they're not going to bomb Iran unless they do something to us. They're not going to do that. Hey, did you see Tim Scott brought his girlfriend to the debate? Yeah, the Republicans were up in arms a little bit because Tim Scott's in his 50s and he's not married. What could that mean? It might mean he's gay. Now, if he was a Democrat, nobody would care if he's gay. But the Republicans, well, they do fucking care. She says, oh, no, no, no. I have a girlfriend in Canada or something. Okay. So, anyway, he brings this woman to the debate. She's actually in Charleston, South Carolina. She's an interior decorator. She's a very attractive woman. God knows why she'd be interested in Tim Scott, and I'm not convinced she is. They held hands for a moment, and then she pulled away very quickly. I don't know that I'm buying it. and I don't know that I care. But here's one thing to consider. He was trying to appease the Republicans that might think he's gay. So he says, "No, I got a girlfriend." Then he brings one. But here's the other thing about Republicans, they're also racist motherfuckers. So, Tim, I don't know if picking a white girl to be your fake girlfriend was the smart thing. I don't know how they feel about this interracial shit. I'm cool with it. But those racist motherfuckers do not like that shit. If Trump is disqualified from being president, who do you think will be the nominee? I don't honestly know because Ron DeSantis is falling like a rock. He's not a good candidate. All the rest are kind of weak. I guess the strongest one would be Nikki Haley. But do you really think the Republicans are going to put up a nominee who happens to be a woman and happens to have East Indian heritage? That doesn't sound Republican to me. Linda Ryan, it's a losing battle. The place is a ghetto. No one wants it. We have our own ghettos. Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about the Gaza Strip. I've never been there, of course, but I will tell you this: no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter who you support, you're going to get a whole lot of shit um, coming down on your head. I don't have a dog in that race. I don't know anything about it. All I know, it's been going on for a long, long time, well before I was born. There are some things you just have to stay out of. And as an old white guy sitting in his living room, I think I'll stay the fuck out of it. Let's see here. Hello, Mike from Off Limits. Hey, what up? 904 Boog 12. What you think about Joe Manchin piece of work? He had an opportunity to help pass. Um, yeah, Manchin's a joke. He's not running again because he can't win. The only unfortunate thing is when he doesn't run, they'll put a Republican in there because West Virginia is a very red state. So that'll mean we'll have to win an extra one in 2024 in the Senate. Love life to live truth. Is this your first live? I always watch your videos, but the first live I've seen of yours. This is not my first live. I've done a number of them. I've done one a week for the last 3 weeks. I, for a long time, didn't do them because of the Trump trolls, but I said, fuck it. I'm going to do it anyway. This is not my first, but I'm glad you caught up with me, and make sure that you keep following because I appreciate it immensely. How do you feel about residents who don't respect our veterans? My parents were enlisted in WW2. How do I feel about people who don't respect veterans? I think they fucking suck. I think they're assholes. I think they're un-American, unpatriotic, and pieces of shit. My grandfather was in World War II, and I remember him telling me stories every time I sat down with him. Um, if you can't respect our veterans, what the fuck good are you? You think Trump is going to jail or not? Yeah, he'll go to jail or he'll go into some kind of lockdown. The important thing is, and I've said this before, this lawsuit may be the most devastating one to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a narcissist. He identifies as rich, famous, powerful, having lots of property, a lot of prestige. When that's all taken away from him, he will be fucking destroyed emotionally. Um, Aeon Biohealth. You're so funny. Trump will never see the day in jail. Yeah, he will. He has to. I mean, you can say that former presidents would normally be put in jail, but nobody's done the things that Donald Trump has done. What he's done has been so egregious and so dangerous. If he isn't put in, if he isn't held accountable in one way or another, there's going to be outrage in this country. And that's the reason they didn't want to indict him, because of the outrage. Well, now the opposite is true because of the things he's done. And unfortunately, we all know what's up. It's not hidden uh, under the wire, as it were. Let's see here. Look at brother. Unlike you, I believe a person. Fuck. Oh, When will Jenny Thomas, Jim Jordan get subpoenas from Capitol January 6th? That should be coming soon. It's conceivable that they would wait until the trial starts with Donald Trump. I don't really know, but um, Jack is making some noise. Brother, why don't they throw Trump in jail the way he disrespected our court system? Well, that's a good question. I think a lot of people think it would cause a lot of problems if uh, if they throw him in jail, and they're worried about it. Um, I don't agree with that. But that's pretty much the reason. Um, yes. Okay, I got to read this one. He says, "Yes, sir. My boy is alive. Let's go. Thanks, James White. What will he do about the Tish James ruling?" Well, he'll probably try to appeal it, but he won't win. He might delay getting his companies taken away from him, but they'll all be in receivership, so he'll have no control out of them. 2024 for Trump behind bars. I'm with you there. Military service is mostly social welfare, a way out of the hood. I don't know if I agree with that. Maybe Jerry can let him borrow a few million, even a billion. Yeah. Do you think Jared's going to do that? Ivanka basically threw him under the bus. Hey, Mike, how come you don't run for president? We all vote for you. You know it. I'll be honest with you. I think I'd be a horrible politician. I'm not very diplomatic. I talk a lot of shit. I don't listen to fucking anybody. Here's my thing. If I say I ran for a representative in the House of Representatives, I might even think I could win that because look what we got in there. Anybody can be a fucking rep. Uh, but then you're part of the problem. I have no control. I'm just one guy in the machine that's fucking up this country. I think I'm better served by being on the outside, being able to talk shit without anybody telling me what I can and can't say. What are your thoughts on Sarah Huckabee Sanders' endorsement? Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a stupid piece of shit, and she'll be lucky if she stays governor in her state of Arkansas. Bilbo Ball Baggins. Is your name Pfizer? Because you made my heart stop. I don't even know if that's an insult or a compliment. Doesn't matter. Essex good. The qualities of Donald Trump, and he won. I think you win no matter what. Um, you make a good point. If Donald Trump can win, virtually anybody could win. Maybe. I don't know what the hell I would do with it. You know, the one bad thing about going into politics, you're going to have somebody that hates you and they're going to dig into your past. Now, I don't have a horrible past, but I got a couple skeletons here and there. I just want to play with my granddaughter. I don't fucking want to do any work. Um, Somebody says you can't tell if he's looking at you or the wall. Well, as I've told folks here, I'm doing this live here now. Okay. But I'm also recording this on Zoom for the podcast later. So 1 minute I might be looking over there or there or there. Doesn't matter. Hey, Mike, what do you think about Mississippi running out of ballots in the Dem counties? Well, that is a coincidence, isn't it? Yeah, I heard that. Do you think some dirty shit might be going on down in Mississippi? Yeah, I'm fucking sure they will. Wise old Deuteronomy. Love your videos and repost them, hoping to spread the message. Thank you. That's the whole point of doing what I'm doing. I'm not delusional enough to think that me alone can do anything. I hope to catch people's attention, maybe inform them about something they don't know, and then they'll pass it on to somebody who will then pass it on to somebody else, and so forth. So I appreciate you doing that. That's kind of the um, point of me doing this on TikTok and the podcast. Trump is never ever going to set foot in the White House again, not if I'm alive. No, he won't be in the White House. He has no chance. Any word on Brett Favre as to whether he'll be tried? Well, he's in Mississippi. His buddy is the governor. What do you think? I know he should be, but I don't think he will be. How is it MTG has not been dumped? Well, I think the Republicans are worried about getting a smaller majority in the House. And I think the Democrats are fine with her fucking things up for her and the Republicans. What is your take on the white powder mailed to several states? You know, I heard about that story. I haven't read it, so I'm not intelligent enough to talk about it. My guess, unless it's already been reported, is that it's fake and it's some dumb Trumplefuck trying to be a tough guy. 80s actor said, will there be a shutdown? I don't think so. I don't. This is an interesting situation. We've got this new Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Okay. He was all excited about becoming the Speaker of the House, his ego. He probably got a political boner over this thing. But now he's in a tough position. He's kind of in a pickle, if you will. You see, if they don't come up with a continuing resolution or some agreement and the country gets shut down, he looks like a failure, and the shutdown is blamed on the Republicans, so they can't have that. But his BFFs are the MAGA fucks, and they want the country to be shut down, and if not that, they want these draconian cuts. So now Mike Johnson is going to have to go in and speak to Joe Biden and negotiate. And here's the problem for Mike Johnson when he does that. Joe Biden turned McCarthy inside the fuck out. Mike Johnson has only been in politics since 2016. Joe Biden's been in the business for 50 years. You don't think Joe Biden knows how to handle this dumb motherfucker? Yeah, he will. Mike Johnson is going to have to bend no matter what he thinks. They can't allow the country to be shut down because it will destroy the Republicans more than what has already been done. Republicans are talking about doing a laddered shutdown, doing it in bits. Yeah, they're talking about that. Here's the deal. Here's the question I have. This has never really been a problem before. How about you take your jobs, you get elected, you get your $175,000 a year, and you just do your job and make a decision and move on to the next thing. Every other Congress has been able to do that, most of them anyway, and you can't. That tells me a lot about your work ethic. And I mean, look here, we are on a continuing resolution right now. There's only 7 or 8 days left, and they still haven't done a fucking thing. They're going to do it down to the last minute of the last day, and they love the drama, and they'll do something to save the day and extend it again till, say, mid-January. I don't think there's going to be a shutdown. There's too much to lose for the Republicans if that happens. All right, moving on. How about perjury charges? You know, I think Don Jr., Eric, maybe even Ivanka could get perjury charges. Whether they'll do that or not, I'm not sure. I don't know. There's so much shit they're going after these people, and they're basically going to strip them of everything they own, money and property and all this stuff. Because you have to understand, it's not just Donald Trump that's getting hit with this lawsuit. Don Jr., Eric, Weisselberg, and some other folks. It's not just Donnie. Donnie's going to get the bulk of it, but there's other people, including his kids, that are going to be part of this whole situation. All right. Kathy O'Rourke says, appreciate you. Thanks for posting. Thank you. Kathy Carter says, hello, I love watching your videos. Thank you. Medlock Carl, Joe Biden couldn't handle a third grade conversation. Okay. Great, Captain. You know what to do. The Democrats have to keep the pressure up and not stop working to keep the presidency. Yeah, we've got to keep the pressure up between now and 2024. We can't let up. We got to keep the pressure on. We've got Republicans on the run, and we need to finish them. If we don't finish them, they'll come back to haunt us. And then once the Democrats have control in the House, the Senate, and in the presidency, we still need to keep the pressure on because honestly, Democrats can fuck around and get lazy too. We can't afford that to happen. We've gone so far to the right and so far down the rabbit hole. We got a lot of digging to get out. And when Joe Biden wins in the House and the Senate, his Democratic majority, that's a good start, but that's not the end game. We got to work like hell after the fact to get us out of the troubles we're in. How come Trump can go in a courtroom, walk all over everybody? I think they're all scared. No, nobody's scared of Donald Trump in that courtroom. You have to understand something. In this courtroom with this lawsuit, there's only one person that's making the decision as to how much Donald Trump will have to pay. There is no jury, just one person, and that one person is the fucking judge. So, how good of an idea do you think it is to piss off the judge? Well, they may feel a little handcuffed about putting him in jail for contempt or something like that. He'll get what's coming to him. Some people are suggesting 600 million as a fine. Some people are talking about over $1 billion. Whatever it is, it's going to take Donald Trump out of business. It's going to shut him down. He's going to have no money, no power. He's going to grift some more money from his Trumplafucks, but it's all going to go to legal fees. So how the hell is he going to run for president if he has no money in the game? Is Trump going to jail? Ricky Mason. Yeah, I think he is. I don't know what the situation will be when he gets locked down, but he will be locked down. Trump is going to go down in history as the greatest failure of the Republican Party. You know what? Not only the greatest failure, when you look at the crimes he's done, people are saying he's the worst president. Nobody's committed crimes like this. Name one other human who has been so prolific with his crimes, who's committed so many crimes. Donald Trump may be one of the worst humans in history. Do you think the Koch brothers will pull their support? They already did. Koch brothers, there's only one of them left, but the Koch brothers are now spending money to do ads against Donald Trump. So that's already gone. Great Captain says, please don't engage with trolls. Yeah, please don't do that. If DT claims bankruptcy after the civil trial, what happens to all the campaign donations? Well, I don't think bankruptcy is going to get him out of having to pay the government. That's not going to save him. I don't know that filing bankruptcy is of any advantage to him at this point. The donations, fuck, he's running through those donations so fast, it's ridiculous. Doesn't Trump have money in overseas banks? I don't know. But it's possible. And I don't know what the courts can do with that money if they find out it's there. Will the Dems keep the Senate in 2024? I think so. I think, just based on the abortion issue, they should keep the Senate, flip the House, and Joe Biden should win. Finally, we will have a chance to start digging out of this hole. What else we got here? Love your content. Thanks for keeping us informed. Thank you for paying attention. That's what I do it for. Attention. I'm an attention whore. And the fact that you're paying attention is much appreciated. All right. Surfer Dave, thank you. Love your show. Thank you. I love all you guys too. It's amazing. The judge needs to lock Trump up for 24 hours in a holding cell without a phone or without a TV. That's an option. Don't lock. Normally, if you're put in jail because of contempt, you're there until the start of the trial. But if nothing else, it wouldn't hurt to put him in jail for 3 days just to give him a taste of what's ahead for him. What are your thoughts on Moms for Liberty being swept across the board? Well, same thing as I think about the Republicans. I mean, the Republicans keep banking on bullshit polls, but then when the elections happen, they get their asses whipped. That's the important thing. You have to remember what happened on election night on Tuesday. Joe Biden endorsed a lot of candidates. They all won. Donald Trump endorsed a lot of candidates. They all lost. The Moms of Liberty endorsed 13 candidates, 12 lost. That says more about the Republican Party and their future than anything. We will not survive with more years under Biden. Okay. Are you one party only? Now, I've told people all along that I don't belong to a party. I don't join clubs. I don't join religions, and I don't join parties. Because up until Donald Trump, Republicans and Democrats were 6 of one and half dozen of the other. They both have problems. I'm with the Democrats right now because we've got an absolute dumpster fire in the Republicans, and they're trying to overthrow this country. So when you have people have common enemies, you become friends or compatriots. But as I've said, once the Democrats get control of everything, trust me, I'll still have plenty to say. We need to keep pushing them to make sure they do what they're supposed to be. Do you think the defense will call DT or his sons to testify in the civil trial? Well, his sons are on the list. Eric and Don Jr. are on the list to testify. Donnie, yeah, I have a feeling he might too. I don't think he said everything he wanted to say. And he's going to sink himself, so let him fucking have it. The court should raise fines from 10K to 100K. I agree with you. 10K doesn't do anything. He doesn't even blink an eye at that. Do you have a preferred Democratic presidential candidate should Biden not run for some reason? Well, let's be honest. He's 80, 81, 82 years old. And when you're that old, anything can happen. I'm one of the people that thinks Joe Biden's too old. But he's the only person we can run at this point. Now, should something happen, the logical choice would be Kamala Harris because she's vice president. And I wouldn't have a problem with that. Maybe some other folks would. But I don't go into anything thinking I'm going to lose or thinking the worst of things. I think of the best of things. If something's going to happen to Joe Biden by virtue of his age, I hope he gets elected first, gets inaugurated second, and then after that, we've got 4 years with a Democratic president, regardless of who it is. Susan Grant's supporters. Oh, Christ. I'm pushing some buttons here. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Do you think Joe Manchin will launch an independent campaign for president? I'm not so sure. He has no chance of winning. All he can be is a spoiler, and we don't know who he'd be a spoiler for. Ashley Bacon, ye's right. Keep believing. Just please show evidence like Comer and Land. Trump is a flight risk, should be behind bars. I don't think he's a flight risk because he can't really go anywhere where nobody knows him. And secondly, he's guarded by the Secret Service, which is a branch of law enforcement in the U.S. government. If they let him go, they are going to be in trouble. So if Donald Trump does flee the country, the Secret Service better go with him because they'll be going to fucking jail. I hope Trump goes away for good after the election is over. We never hear about him again. He will go away. He may keep talking, but he won't have any power, any control at all. Is the Secret Service compromised? I think they might be, but they still have to answer to the law if they let him go. Let's see here. Joe is too old, but he has enough economic wins that he can still beat Trump. Nobody's going to beat Biden at this point. If he's healthy and moving around, he'll be fine. 49ers 5255. Host, you aren't very bright, are you? Never claimed to be bright. Fucking loud. Didn't claim to be bright. It's not for me to decide whether I'm bright. It's for people listening. Trump can't go to jail. They're going to lock the Secret Service up too. If Trump disappears with the MAGAs go back underground. Yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. Great emails on your podcast today. Thank you. Excuse me. I got this fucking cold. Um, um, I want to remind folks I do the TikToks every day. I do 4 to 6 to 8, whatever. And I do a podcast every day. I record it at about midnight every night. I get a lot of emails from folks, and I read those because I think the people that are participating in the podcast are just as important, and their thought process is just as important as mine. I also do have listeners as guests. I don't have people selling books and shit like that. I think it's important to hear from the people. Like I say, I want to inspire other people to go out there and talk. And if they can come on my show and tell me what they think or learn something in the process, that's all good. I'm sorry to hear you have a cold. Get well soon. You know what? I don't get a cold very often, and I don't really, it's not that bad. I don't feel terrible. It's just stuffy, and my voice is kind of fucked up, but I appreciate that. Thoughts on the Middle East war? Surfer Dave, I don't talk too much about the Middle East war because I don't have a dog in the fight. And no matter which side you pick, you're in fucking trouble. I think we got enough troubles here. The only thing I can say about that war in the Middle East, it's been going on since before I was born. I don't know the facts of anything about it, so I'm not going to act like I do. But the fact is that I hope they can stop this thing and stop hurting innocent people. Bebop 8348 says, does the Secret Service get to go to jail with him? Nobody knows. I mean, presumably that could be. You put a couple of guys on an 8-hour shift, you put them in jail with them, and then when their shift's over, they come out and somebody else comes in. Or if you're going in a federal lockup, they maybe can create an area where it's completely safe and they have security people there that can watch over them, you know, like they did like they did Epstein. Bro has over half a century to learn the situation, but didn't. Embarrassing. Don't know what that means. Let's march to the Capitol and fight like hell. 5 people died. Why no manslaughter charges? Good question. Very good question. They did convict 1,000 of them, though. Once you're in prison, no one is safe. Well, Donald Trump would probably be cut off from everybody else just to keep him safe. Manchin, I talked about him. He's not running for Senate anymore because he can't win. I don't think he'll run for president, third party. Democrats don't like him. The Republicans don't like Democrats. Who's going to vote for him? No, they will be perimeter security, and he will be in solitary confinement, all to his lonesome. Yeah, I've heard that one, and that's conceivable. Will supporting Israel hurt Biden? Well, if you listen to the media and the Republicans, they say, oh, God, it's terrible. But that's absolute bullshit. I mean, think about this. People who claim I'm not voting for Biden because he supports Israel, which he has to do because they're an ally. So what's your option? What's your play then? You're going to vote for people that tried to undermine democracy, overturn elections, and overthrow the country? People who are racist, misogynist, anti-Semitic pieces of shit? You're instead going to vote for that because you're butthurt about Biden's stance on Israel? Well, if you're going to do that, you're a stupid piece of shit, and I don't even want to talk to you. He will be king in prison. Now, he won't be anywhere near anybody else. Donald Trump is going to be 78 years old in 2024. He's not emotionally, mentally, or physically healthy. With the pressure he's got on him over the next year, He probably doesn't have much time left. Lipton chicken noodle soup. It's cheap, quick, and easy. I'll remember that. What's the latest on Letitia James versus Trump? Well, she rested her case. Now the defense comes up next week, and they'll put on their case. And when it's over, we'll get a decision from the judge. And Donnie ain't gonna like it. In your opinion, why do so many people support a man of Trump's ilk? Um, Honestly, I think there's a lot of followers, a lot of cultish people. I think these are people that feel like the government has been beating them down, whether that's true or not. They see him as a champion, a tough guy that's going to fight for him, and they don't care what he does because finally somebody's going to fight for them. Fact of the matter is, we know he isn't going to fight for anybody, but just by virtue of him saying it, they believe that shit. So they're not too bright either. Trump doesn't have a defense. No, he does not. Trump is the best president since Ronald Reagan. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, in 1980, I was 20 years old. I'd never voted for president before, and I voted for Ronald Reagan. Here I sit 43 years later, and I have to apologize for that because Ronald Reagan was a piece of shit, and he wasn't too bright himself. Trump has not helped anyone but himself in his lifetime. This is true. Did you hear what Jack Smith is doing? This is interesting. Jack Smith heard about a motion that Donald Trump's team made to Judge Chutkin. They said, listen, we don't want to talk about the January 6th attack on the Capitol. And we hadn't heard anything about Jack Smith, how he's going to tie this in, or if he was going to tie it in. Well, then Jack Smith responded and said, oh, hell no. This is going to be the main part of my trial, and we're going to be bringing insurrectionists in to tell us how they were directed and inspired and sent to the Capitol by Donald Trump. I did not want to hear that thing. Thank you for knowing the difference between right or wrong. Cough Dog 65. Well, when you're 63 years old and you've done some things wrong, you learn some fucking lessons. Racial riots are from the Republican Party. Well, they're the fucking racist. Yeah, absolutely. Old Jack doesn't miss a beat. No, you're absolutely right. I have a lot of trust in Jack Smith. People are worried about what's going on with Florida and Aileen Cannon, the judge down there. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. I think Jack knows exactly what he's doing, and he's waiting for the best shot. And when he takes it, Aileen Cannon will be out on her ass. Blue says, love your stuff, man. Thank you. What about the Comer loan? Yeah, I was talking about that earlier. Comer's trying to subpoena Hunter Biden, James Biden, because of this alleged misappropriations of money. Well, James Comer's got the same issue with his brother. He sent his brother $200,000 through shell companies that don't even exist. Somebody needs to look into that. The Republicans never will, but I'll tell you what, James, if the Democrats win the House and the Senate, expect a subpoena for yourself. Will Trump go to federal prison? And also, will Jared Kushner be found to have shit on Saudi Arabia? You know, I think once this is all over with Donald Trump, I think Jared Kushner is going to have some people knocking on his door. You can't just get $2 billion for seemingly nothing and not have people ask questions. Mike in Chi-Town says, LOL, watch people start saying that Smith witnesses are Antifa. Well, that would be ironic because all the witnesses in Georgia and in Washington, D.C. are Republicans, people connected to Donald Trump. Does that mean the entire Republican Party was fucking Antifa? When Antifa doesn't really exist, it's an ideology. It's not a fucking club like Proud Boys or Oath Keepers. Let's see. Why are Trump's business still operating? Well, they're operating, but they're in receivership. So somebody else is controlling them. There won't be any shutdowns until after there's a decision made uh, in this trial in New York. So it'll be a bit before that actually happens. But he's still not really in control of anything anymore. He might get a deal if he gets out of politics. No, he's not getting a deal. There is no way he's getting a deal. What's he got to deal with? He's got nobody he can flip on. Getting out of politics, he doesn't have to cut that deal because he's going to be out of politics anyway. Donald Trump is a target in all these trials. They are going to flip everybody and anybody to get him. He will not get a deal. Yeah, no one is saying anything about Kushner and him getting all the money. Yeah, they're talking about it. And there is an investigation into it. So it's being considered. Polls said Republicans are going to win this past Tuesday. Dems won. These are the same polls that said Donald Trump would beat Joe Biden in 5 swing states. I was watching Rachel Maddow, and she pointed out there's another question in that poll that the media failed to tell us. These same people were asked, well, what happens if Donald Trump gets convicted of a felony? Well, then it switches to the other side, and Joe Biden wins by 14%. So don't worry about the polls. The polls said Barack Obama would lose in 2011. The polls said Hillary Clinton would win in 2016. The polls said Donald Trump would win in 2020. The polls said in 2022 there would be a red wave. Every motherfucking one of them is wrong. So don't listen to that shit. Let me ask you a question. What brand is a better brand than, say, Levi's? Dude, do I look like a guy that knows anything about brands? I mean, these fucking hats. People ask me about these hats. These are cheap hats. I buy them off some app for $4. Will Rudy go to jail? Yeah, I think he's going to jail. He's in some deep shit. That motherfucker doesn't know when to shut his mouth, and some of the shit he did is fucking horrific. He's going to be broke. He's going to be without any property, and he's probably going to jail. Okay, what's this guy say? Dude, we respect your opinion. You're obviously knowledgeable and on a lot of topics. Well, here's the thing. I never finished college, but I'm curious. I like history. I like politics. So when I'm curious and interested, I read a lot. I listen a lot. And then once I know what it is, I kind of analyze it for myself. I mean, that's how I live my life. I look at a situation and I try to decide what does it mean and what are the angles with this situation. So I've just taken what I do all day, every day with myself, all of my life, and I spew it here on TikTok. So I'm no super brain, but I pay attention and I listen and I think about shit. You're hurting some feelings by speaking the truth. Yeah, I do. I said this to somebody else. Somebody complained about something I said, and I want people to understand this. And I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. There are some people that are looking for things to be mad at you about. There are people that are always looking for things to be offended. I think about what I say here on TikTok. So if you're watching me and you are offended or you're mad about something I've said, understand this. I meant to do it because I meant what I said and I'm not going to back off of it. You can try to fucking shame me all you want. It's not going to work. I say what I say because I believe it and I believe it to be true. That doesn't mean I'm always right. There have been many people who have straightened me out and said I was wrong. Hell, my wife tells me I'm wrong every fucking day. I'm okay with being wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me and I'll adjust what I'm saying or what I'm thinking. But I feel confident about what I'm saying because I try to be careful about what I'm saying and try to know what I'm talking about, as opposed to what a lot of people do, like Donald Trump does, speak purely out of emotion, and whatever drops out of that fucking orange pie hole, he thinks it's true, and it's just not. Fauci going to jail. No. Trump caused inflation massively. In a way, he did. He crashed the economy before he left office. And people will say to me, well, it was COVID. It wasn't his fault. No, COVID was Donald Trump's fault. If Donald Trump had done anything like any normal president, instead of ignoring COVID, it wouldn't have gotten as bad as it did. The supply chain wouldn't be as big a problem. And that basically started inflation. But inflation is coming down. Soundgarden, you and me both. Curiosity is all you need. Where do I get my news from? Well, I tell you how this works. I will watch TV news. I'll look at AP, BBC, Raw Story, and what I do is I get the basis of the story. I get a lot on TikTok too, but I find the basis of the story. And once I have a story I like, I dig into it. I look at all the sources that might be good sources, and then I compile that and come up with my opinion on it. But as I say, it's not like I sit in my chair, hear a story, and then repeat it. It takes a little work. And I know it's a pain in the ass, and most people don't have time to do it, but I'm fucking retired and I want to do it. So let me do it. Listen to me or some of the other creators out on TikTok, and you'll get the straight facts. What else here? Biden has done a lot of good things. Most people are too stupid to check it out. Yeah, you're probably right. Rational boomer for president. Yeah, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. If I become president, it's going to cut in my time playing with my 3-year-old granddaughter, and that's not worth it. What else here? God damn it, I'm having a hell of a time. What do you think about Jill Stein running for the Green Party? I don't. She's a non-issue. Do you still get the paper? I still do. No, I don't get the paper. Were you a teacher or a professor? No. My wife is a teacher. She was a grade school teacher. She's retired right now. I worked in radio for most of my life. I worked in business as well. After I retired from radio, I worked in business as well. And now I'm full-time TikTok and podcast. So I'm essentially retired. I got to tell you, it's fucking awesome. Good riddance, Joe Manchin. Absolutely. Fuck Joe Manchin. Now, who gives a shit about Joe Manchin? Let's see here. What do you think about Joe Manchin's announcement? I've talked about that a couple of times. I don't think much about it. He's not running because he's going to lose, and I don't think he'll be a third-party presidential candidate. But if he is, he will be a non-factor. How can Trump still run for president? Because it doesn't say he can't in the Constitution. But just because it says he can't in the Constitution doesn't mean he won't or can't. When you get the kind of pressure and court dates and financial pressures he's getting, I just don't see how he can do it. That's just my opinion. Do you think President Biden will win easily? Yes, I do. And here's why. In 2020, Joe Biden beat Donald Trump by 7 million votes. Okay. That's 2020. Tell me what has happened between 2020 and now that gained more support or more votes for Donald Trump. What has he accomplished that would get him to do better in the next election? Nothing. Nothing. He's lost support. He's lost votes. So if he is the candidate, and I'm not convinced he is, but if he is the candidate, he'll probably lose by 10 or 12 or maybe 15 million votes, honestly. Somebody saying Gavin Newsom for the presidency. Actually, Gavin would probably be a good president, but he's smart enough to know to stay out of it until 2028. Wait his turn. Gail, Mike, I'm so glad I caught you. Thank you. Plus the demographics are changing. Yeah, that's a big issue. With the insurgence of millennials and Gen Zs, they're going to play a big role in the 2024 election, and they will be the majority voting bloc in 2028. 2028, the Republicans are fucking done. What else? Feel better. Yeah, I actually feel fine. I'm just a little tired and got a stuffy nose and a scratchy throat. Other than that, I'm cool. Nick says, I love your content. Thank you very much. Uh, last to know, last one to know. I think a lot of Dems see Gavin as a little weak. I don't know if I see him as weak. It's not his time. I mean, I think he's a potential candidate in 2028. But to be perfectly honest with you, come 2028, after being the Speaker of the House for 4 years, I think Hakeem Jeffries might be a great candidate. What else? There's a lot of people who love Trump. Yes, they are, and they are dumb. Blackwing Zero for life. The question I have is, why are we so delusional that we are the greatest country on earth? I think in some ways we are the greatest country on earth, but we have a lot of deficiencies. Why do we tell our kids they're the smartest, cutest kids ever, when my granddaughter's the smartest, cutest kid ever? I don't know. I think it's important to have good self-confidence and have uh, confidence in yourself. Who's to say who has the greatest country? I think as far as freedom goes, financial situations and such, we probably are the greatest country, but we got a long ways to go to fix a lot of shit that the Republicans ruined in this country. Eve on the beach, so glad I caught you. Didn't know you did lives. Well, Eve, I see you all the time, commenting and checking things, liking things. I do lives. I didn't for a long time because of the trolls. I've done one every week for the last 3 weeks, and I think I'm going to do more of them because I like doing. I like talking to you folks. I just don't want to be fodder for troll fucks to cause some shit. Kyle Sharp just logged in. I believe the Republican Party is dying, but do you really think they're done? I do. How are you going to come back from this? They are going to have to step back after the 2024 election, reimagine, rehabilitate themselves if they hope to do anything. And unfortunately, that's going to take some time to do. How many more week-long vacations is the House going to get until they do something? Well, Monday's legal holiday. It's Veterans Day. They aren't going to be working, and we've just days away from the country being shut down. They get all this time and they don't do jack shit except try to impeach Joe Biden when we've got real issues in this country that need to be addressed. I don't know how we'll ever get Republicans to accomplish anything. They're obstructionists. They don't do anything. What else here? How bad financially can Trump be hurt in New York? Absolutely destroyed. Yeah, he won't have any money. He won't have any property. He won't be able to do anything. He'll be done. Let's see here. M Tour, you're an awesome content creator, and I really enjoy your live for the first time. Thank you. And I'll be doing more. It's good to see so much diversity in our politics life. I'm so over old white men being in charge. You and me both. That's coming from an old white man. The era of the old white man in charge has got to go by the wayside. And we're going to be stuck with it a little bit in 2024 with Joe Biden in office. But after that, I hope we get younger folks. I hope we get more diversity. And maybe we can fix some things when the old white men are out of the fucking picture. What else? What do you make of Joe Manchin? I make nothing of Joe Manchin. He's a gnat on an elephant's butt. Do you think Rudy and the Pillow Guy are hiding their money in some offshore account and claiming they're broke? Well, if they were smart, they would be doing that. But everything I've seen of Rudy Giuliani and Mike Pillow, they don't appear to be very sharp. Who do you think is going to replace Manchin? Well, I think it's going to be some Republican because West Virginia is a very red state. It was kind of an oddity that Joe Manchin was a senator there. I don't know who it is. What do I think of the new speaker? I think he's a creepy motherfucker that's in over his head, and he's probably going to get kicked out at some point in the not too distant future. Has there ever been a total damage amount that the a-holes did to the Capitol? I never found any. I think there was, and it was substantial. I don't remember what it was. Please comment on Robert Kennedy Jr.'s insane candidacy. Well, I say let the motherfucker run. Here's a guy that comes from political royalty, and everybody in his family hates this dumb motherfucker. He tries to run against Joe Biden, realizes he can't, so he decides he's going to run in a third party. Now, the Republicans were all for him when he was running against Joe Biden, but now as a third party candidate, they see him taking votes away from the Republicans, so now they're shitting their pants. I don't think you have to worry about Robert F. Kennedy because the Republicans will take him apart. Let's see here. Can we get Matt Gaetz? Um, he's going to get got here. He may be part of the superseding indictments from Jack Smith. Mike, I'm in West Virginia. State was very Democratic years ago. Yeah, I know that. I know. Too bad they're not now. Let's see here. Hi from Alabama, which is a red state. Why can't people see that Trump is no good? I don't know. Either they're evil or they're stupid. And I like to look at the cup half full. So I'll go with stupid. GOP is not going away. They have America firmly in their hands. Racism is uniting factor. Yeah, the Republicans are done as we once know them. They're now kind of a fringe party, a cult party. And they aren't going to be able to do anything as more and more young people become voters. What about Cornel West? Seems that he'd be taking votes from Biden. How much have you heard about Cornel West? Not much. He's got to get money to continue the race, and I don't see him getting that much money. I'm not worried about Cornel West. He may be a good guy. I don't know much about him, but I think before in the next 6 months or so, people like him are going to drop out because they can't sustain financially. Blue in Florida, it's pretty painful, I can imagine. Do you think we could ever fix gerrymandering? Well, we've started. Some of this gerrymandering has gone to appeals, and they're flipping them back. So, yeah, I think we'll get it done with eventually here. It may take some time. Will Gates ever be charged? I think he's more likely to be charged with. Well, first, I think the Republicans are going to kick him out. They don't like him. And then he could get charged in the January 6th superseding indictments. I don't know how he was involved, but that's conceivable. Ask Republicans who's the best kisser in their family, and they will talk for hours. Yeah. Tim Scott and Mindy knows. I don't believe it, just a front. Well, I was talking about that before. The Republicans were worried about maybe Tim Scott was gay. And he said, "Oh, no, I got a girlfriend. She doesn't live around here, but I got a girlfriend." So then he brings the girlfriend to the debate, thinks he's settled everything now that he's proved to the Republicans he's not gay. But here's the other thing. Not only are the Republicans homophobes, they're racist too. So I don't know that Tim Scott bringing a white girl in is a good thing. You know, all these Republicans don't like that race mixing. And look at that girl. Do you think she'd really date Tim Scott? She seems like a perfectly nice young woman. She's attractive. What could possibly attract her to Tim Scott? I can't say for sure what's going on there, but it does seem a little awkward, doesn't it? How can we fight Republican gerrymandering? By voting the motherfuckers out and then taking them to court when they do it. From Canada, love your content. Thank you. I love Canada. Why don't they know who placed the bombs on January 6th? We don't know that they don't know. That may be something that comes out in Jack Smith's trial with regards to January 6th. Should Trump be in jail? They say he's not above the law, but no one can control him, number one. Well, he's very close to being controlled. He will have no more power, no more money. He will be a pariah in this country. Donald Trump will get his. Trust me on that. Why are some Dems I know worried about Biden's polling? There's still time. Look, here's the deal with polling. We don't know who finances those pollings. We don't know the questions they ask. We don't know who they're asking. Polls are notoriously wrong. They've been wrong in every presidential race at this point. And we shouldn't worry about polls. Gooby Lube. Hey, Mike. Hey, Gooby Lube. Cornel West is very kind. I understand that. I think he is a good guy. I just don't think he's going to get anywhere running for president. Remember how wrong the red wave polls were? Yeah. Remember the polls said Barack Obama would lose in 2012. They also said that Hillary Clinton would win in 2016. They also said that Donald Trump would win in 2020. They're always fucking wrong. Barr says you are appreciated, RB. Thank you very much. Hey, I got something interesting doing Saturday. Saturday. I think I've talked about this on the podcast, but I haven't talked about it in the live. I've got a lot of followers, and I don't know at all who they are ever, but I got a DM from a woman, and she said she wanted me to invite my wife and I to a show that her son was having at the local casino here in Minnesota. I said, cool, who's that? Because the name didn't look familiar. And it turns out her son is Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium. My wife is a huge fan of Tyler Henry. And, I find him a pretty engaging kid too. And his mom, a lovely woman. But when somebody offers you something like that, when you're on TikTok, you don't know if it's real or not. So we ended up FaceTiming with her. It was absolutely her. So we're real excited about going to the show on Saturday and hopefully meeting them. So that's kind of cool. One of the perks of being on TikTok. Great people too, by the way. Let's see here. You remind me of the actor that be snapping on Trump. You guys can pass for brothers. I don't know who that is. I don't know. If you got a name, let me know. But that motherfucker better be good looking, though. Isn't that the worst thing? People will come up to you and say, you remind me of somebody. And then when you finally see the motherfucker you're supposed to look like, you go, Jesus Christ, do I look that bad? Anyway, worrying about MAGA infiltrating Trump trials and causing mistrials. No, not at all. Security is too good. Do you think Lindsey Graham will go to jail? I'm not so sure, unless he's implicated in the January 6th thing, and that's conceivable. I don't know. It's really tough putting a standing senator in jail. Don't ask me why. It just is. Devon Mosley says, take some Buckley. It'll knock that cold out instantly. Amazon. I'll check it out. Blue Justice says, Michael Rappaport. I like Michael Rappaport. I think he swears too much, though. Oh, fuck. I'd love to talk to Michael Rappaport. He and I are on the same page on a lot of things. It's tough living in Texas, but you really have to seek hard to find blue around here. Yeah, I can imagine. I love your content. You're the best and a smart man. Thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words. Hope in 2024 Dems get House and Senate. I think they will. I think you can feel confident in that. Michael Hanahan says, love your content. You're very level headed. I just stumbled upon this and have already subscribed. Well, thank you very much. You can subscribe on TikTok or follow on TikTok or check out the podcast. I appreciate it immensely. Glenn Kirshner is great. Yes, I like Glenn Kirshner. I get a lot of information from the things he says. He knows his shit and he's always on point. You should invite UAW President Sean Fain on your podcast. Now, listen, here's what you got to understand. There are people I'd like to get on the podcast, but I'm just a little guy. They don't give a fuck about my podcast. Hell, I've reached out to other creators on TikTok and said, hey, you want to be on a podcast? I don't get a response. So I do the show myself, or I have listeners on, and it's going pretty well. So if any of those people, if anybody out there listening to this live wants to be on the podcast, all you have to do is email me at rationalboomer@gmail.com. Whether you're a listener, whether you're famous, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, doesn't make a fucking difference. You can be on the show. How many of those 19 indicted will turn on Trump? All Republicans, too, by the way. Yeah, I think ultimately probably 10 of them, maybe more. I think she wants to get it pared down to, well, the top 4 or 5 are the ones that won't have the opportunity to flip. So there could be as many as 14 ultimately as we get closer to the trial. Cedar Trio 1, love from Minnesota. Thanks, homie. You're the best. I hope you feel better soon. Debbie, thank you. I'm feeling all right. I just, my voice and my nose and all that shit. Will Trump ever see prison behind bars? I believe he will. I believe there's no other way to do this for the crimes he committed. Keith Olbermann is funny too. Yeah, I like Keith Olbermann. I listen to him. I listen to his podcast. I think it's a little overproduced. He doesn't have to do all that stuff, but he's sharp. He's funny. He's got experience. I like Keith Olbermann too. Trump really released all the fascists in Canada. I've heard that. I talked to a lot of people in Canada, and it sounds like whatever Trump has infiltrated Canada, and I'm sorry for that. I apologize for our country. Oh, that's him, Michael Rappaport. You think I look like Michael Rappaport? That's not so bad. He looks like an average guy. Thoughts on Jeff Jackson, open communications via TikTok? Oh, he's the representative, right? I think he does a good job. Sounds like he's going to lose his job with the redrawing of districts, and that's sad. But I think he does a great job, actually. What else here? Remember, Lindsay acted like he was against Trump 2 days later playing golf with Trump. Yeah, I think the best way you can describe Lindsey Graham is a pussy ass bitch that will say and do anything he has to cover his ass. Nothing will change. I met Robert Kennedy at 10 years old. Nothing has changed. Hawk would be good on your podcast. Yeah, I'd have Hawk on, but I sent him a DM, never heard back from him. So I don't know what's up with that. They should beg to be on your podcast. No, nobody's begging me to be on the podcast. I appreciate those folks that come on. I have some regular people. I have Ed, who's going to be on the podcast this weekend. He's a guy I work with back in radio, older guy, but people love him. I have one listener named Old Soul, who's fantastic on the show. She comes on. We do just fine with the listeners, but we're always open to bringing more in. Why didn't you ever run for mayor or governor or even presidency? I would vote for you. You know what? Because I'd be a horrible politician. I don't listen to shit. I hate fucking meetings. I'm not very diplomatic. And I think if I'm in the machine, I'm part of the problem. Outside, I can say what I want and nobody can stop me. So I'd rather be on the outside. Joshua, I like your show. Keep it real. And that is what's appealing. Thank you. What do you think of the Minnesota Supreme Court today? You're talking about the 14th Amendment thing. I know you're thinking that that's a bad thing, but that was a very narrow decision. That doesn't preclude Minnesota from banning Donald Trump for running for president in 2024. This was more about the primary than the actual election, so don't get too excited by that. There'll be some other things coming out of Minnesota. I find Americans have lost their patriotism to presidency since Trump. Well, I think Republicans have. I don't think Democrats have. Have you ever been to Paisley Park? I have been to Paisley Park a number of times. Back in the 80s, I was in the music business when Prince was coming up and starting to explode. I represented a lot of people that work with Prince. My recording studio at the time was Kitty Corner from First Avenue, so I watched him film Purple Rain in front of my building. Yeah, I've got some insights and some stories about my time in the music business in the 80s. Jeff Jackson is running for AG in North Carolina. Yeah, I heard that. They're going to take away his job, so he's going to go to be the attorney general and come after those motherfuckers. I think that's an excellent move. When I was young, old folk knowledge was harder to come by. Thank goodness for TikTok. What are you saying? You saying I'm old folk? Well, yeah, I guess I am. I try to watch your videos every day. I'm glad you're on live. Thank you. I emailed our state attorney to remove Trump from the ballot. That's what it takes. People reaching out, speaking out, and fighting for what's right. Once all this is done with Trump, it's going to take generations to recover. I don't know about generations, but it's going to take a while. Somebody says, Charlie Prince Hart. You want to hear a Prince story? I didn't know Prince. I saw him a lot of times, but I did tell Prince to fuck off one time. Inadvertently. I didn't know I was doing it. I owned a recording studio, okay? And it was the time that Prince was coming up with Purple Rain. And when that was going on, everybody and their brother was walking in my studio thinking they were as good as Prince. Well, one time, Prince's cousin, legitimate cousin, walked in and he wanted to have me help him get a record deal. He had some contacts in LA, but he needed somebody to facilitate that. So I said, that's cool. He was kind of a shifty fuck, but we had a definite chance and we ultimately got a deal for a minute. Anyway, this kid is in the studio working on some music and I get a phone call. And the phone call, this guy, kind of abrupt, says, let me talk to such and such. I said, he's in the studio. I'm not going to bug him. He says, let me talk to him. I said, no, motherfucker, I'm not letting you talk to him. I said, who the fuck are you? He said, this is Prince. And I go, oh, it's Prince. I'm not thinking it's Prince. Why would Prince call me? So anyway, I go, oh, if I'd known it was Prince, I would have gotten on my knees and dragged him over for you. Finally, I gave the phone to this kid, and I saw this kid really taking a tongue lashing over the phone. He wasn't saying much, but he looked embarrassed. And after he was done, I said, dude, who was that? He goes, it was Prince. I go, holy fuck. I just told Prince to fuck off, and I didn't know I was doing it. Well, the reason they were having this confrontation on the phone, this kid had just gotten a deal, and they were really only interested in one song. Since this kid used to play with Prince back in the Grand Central days, he had a lot of shit from those days with Prince. Anyway, he gets this deal based on this song, and it turns out he stole that song from Prince. And Prince was calling him to admonish him. Shortly after that, I get a call from the record company and they say, listen, man, he stole the song. I go, oh, no shit. So I ream him out. He takes off. I never see him again. And the record executive calls me back Probably a month later, and they go, "What's up?" I go, "What do you mean, what's up?" Says, "The deal with your guy. When are we going to do it?" I said, "You just told me he stole Prince's song. I assumed it's over." This is what he said to me. He said, "No, man, I don't care if he stole the song. Just let us in on the deal." Well, it never happened because he took off. I never saw him again. He was scared to death by the time I got done with him. Anyway, there's a story about Prince. I love Prince, but I will tell you this. I know Prince wasn't the greatest guy with musicians back when he was in his heyday. I think he tried to make recompense for it later on, but he is an absolute genius. There's no question. Wait a minute. I didn't know this about you, the music business. Yeah, you worked in the music business for quite a while. I worked with a number of people. I did. And I've talked about it a little bit on the podcast, and I've even thought about writing a book about it because everybody's written some about Prince and all the upper echelon people in the music business in Minneapolis in the 80s. I had a recording studio and I was kind of in the middle, you know. I dealt with some famous people, but I was in the middle. I wasn't the top tier. But in Minneapolis in the 80s, when Prince was hitting it, when Husker Du was hitting it, the Time was hitting it, um, it was crazy. And if you had a studio in Minneapolis, you had people pounding on your door all fucking day because everybody thought this was the place to get discovered. One other thing I will tell you on the podcast, I had a gentleman by the name of Monty Moyer on the podcast one time before. He's a founding member of the group at the time. He's a friend of mine. We went to school together. He grew up across the street from me. Interesting guy. I don't even know where that podcast is in the list, but you may want to check for it, or maybe I'll have him back. How in the hell can anyone support another Trump presidency? Good question. Fucking no idea. Absolutely no idea. Siobhan says, thank you for being the voice of reason in dark times. Thank you. Moog Vets, tell about your music career. There's a lot of stories with the music career. I'll tell you how I got into it. When I was about 21, 22, 23, in that range, I'd worked in radio for a long time. I'd gotten some money together. I put together a recording studio. The recording studio wasn't to produce music. It was to produce radio commercials and videotapes and all that kind of shit, commercial, industrial type stuff. But then when Prince hit, and I was where I was, right across from First Avenue, people would come in and say, "Hey, dude, do you do music?" Now, I'm not musically inclined at all, but I was young. I wasn't making a lot of money. When they asked me if I was doing music, I said, "Yeah, fuck it, I'll do music." And everything I've ever done in my life, I've kind of jumped in head first and tried to figure it out while I was doing it. And I did. Fortunately, I made some contacts. And while I wasn't necessarily a music producer, I was a representative, the business end of it. And I dealt with a number of people in LA. I've spent some time going out to LA and pitching record companies. One of the first record companies we went to was A&M Records, which is the old Charlie Chaplin studios. And the guy I was pitching this to was John McClane. You may not know him, but John McClane was an up and comer at this time. He just finished up Janet Jackson's Control album with Jimmy and Terry Lewis, and I was pitching him on this artist. This is the artist I was telling you about that they wanted one song, but he stole it from Prince. But anyway, in talking to him, he ended up being the president of Interscope Records. Then he went on to be one of the people with another guy named Bronkman or whatever. And they represent the publishing company that Michael Jackson bought when he bought all the Beatles stuff. Now, the interesting thing about that, I got an artist signed as a publishing deal to Michael Jackson's publishing company. I even have contracts with Michael Jackson's autograph on it. Didn't make fucking much money, but I got a lot of stories. So We can talk more about the music career and other situations. There's a lot of stories, a lot of crazy fucking stories. But when I was in the record business, music business, I was in my late 20s. I had a kid, I had a wife, I had a house, wasn't making a lot of money. I was running around a lot. Wife was not too excited about it. I got a little frustrated with it because the music business is a fucked up cutthroat business. So that's the music business. I got to tell you, my voice is starting to go here. When you talk an hour and a half and you got a cold, it's starting to go. So I'm going to do lives more often. I'll do another live next week, and hopefully this will be I'll be recovered from this. But I thank you very much for coming out and spending time with me on this format, this live on TikTok. Keep following me on the videos. They'll keep coming like they always do. I'll give my voice a rest. I'll be able to do something tomorrow. If you didn't hear the whole live, this live will be my podcast for tomorrow. There'll be a video version of it on YouTube, and there'll be an audio version on it. And there are links if you go to rationalboomer.com. So I want to thank you very much for coming by. I really do. I'll do this more. Thank you to the moderators for saving my ass out here and keeping the Trumplefucks from taking us down. So you have a great night, and I'll talk to you very soon. I'll be back fucking tomorrow with the videos. We'll talk to you later.